So today I wanted to talk with you briefly about fabric storage and how I fold fabric to store it. My methods have changed over the years, and some of those changes are based on the quantity of fabric that I actually had that needed to be stored, but also on the space that I had available to store the fabric at. So I thought I would talk about a few different things that I think are important regarding fabric storage. Now, I don't care how or where you store your fabric. One of the things you want to make sure is that the fabric is not exposed to either direct or indirect sunlight, because over time, if you have a stash that you're not going to get through in a year, over time there will be some fading that happens, and you particularly will see this at the fabric fold, and that makes it not quite unusable, but very limited use, because if you've got a fade on the fold of the fabric, then you've only got half the width of the fabric to work with, which is, generally around 21 or 22 inches. So if you have to store it out on open shelves in a room that has windows in it, or even, overhead lighting, you may want to consider covering up your fabric or putting a curtain over it or some sort of method to protect it from fading. So I tend to store my fabric in a closet on shelving. And here you can see on the upper shelves, I keep the solid colored fabrics. I ran out of room up there, so had to move down one more shelf, and then on that second shelf, the rest of the fabric there is my smaller prints that work well for little girls' clothes. It's cotton lawns and that sort of thing. But then the remainder of the shelf is my quilting cotton fabrics, and I use that for all the children's clothes as well, and I like to keep those together by color. That works very well for me. So that way I can choose what I want to work with, and it's right there with all the different prints if I want to coordinate a couple prints together. So that is one set of shelving. The next set of shelving, I try to keep things together. I've got these stripes together. Then I have my domestic dotted Swiss fabrics. I have a lot of polka dots because I use those as accent pieces. But then I have a shelf that's piquets, seersuckers, and then as we go further down the shelf here, I've got the various ginghams and more polka dots because, like I said, I use lots of polka dots. And then the bottom shelves are more bottom weight fabric, twills and that sort of thing. So this keeps it all organized and at hand so that it's easy for me to access when I'm deciding on what to make for my next project. There still are some fabrics that I keep in totes, and the whites are one of those because I want to keep those as clean as possible. And these are the better fabrics. They're Swiss Batiste, cotton lawns, just a lot of really nicer fabrics. And because of the way they're folded, I can easily see which fabric I've got, so it's easy to pick out what you want to choose when you're getting ready to make something. The way I like to fold fabric, all you really need is a clear plastic ruler that is 6 inches wide and 24 inches long. I typically buy larger cuts of fabric, so 3 to 5 yards, and the cardboard method doesn't really work well, in my opinion, for these larger fabric pieces. This works excellent for me, and there's not any added bulk to it with the cardboard. So what I do is I place the ruler down on the fabric, and this is a 45-inch wide fabric that is a little over 3 yards long. And I start by folding over one end of it, and you need to use a slippery surface because then it's just a matter of flipping as often as you need to get the whole length of the fabric folded. See, this doesn't take long. As I approach the end, I like to have the cut edge tucked in. So finished, slide the ruler out, fold it in half, and there you are, a perfectly folded piece of fabric that's ready to go on the shelf. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see other videos, please hit the subscribe button.